All right, guys, what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of We the People, where the people come for the truth. So check this out right here. This is Glenn Beck, right? Now, let me let y'all know. Even though I'm a conservative, I don't agree with all conservatives. And Glenn Beck's one conservative that I don't like, really. Okay? I put him on the lines of, like, Ben Shapiro. You know, people that think that places that are more important than America, like Israel, for instance, right? People who swear their allegiance to Israel, especially Americans. And Glenn Beck is one of them. Yes, Glenn Beck is one of them. All right? Glenn Beck's a Mormon who believes in Judeo-Christianism. Well, two things can't always be the same. And Christians and Jews are not the same. Christians do not believe in Christ, and I'm sorry, how did I just say that? Let me say that. Christians believe in Christ. The Jews do not believe that Jesus was the Son of God. That's what I meant to say. I don't know exactly what I said the first time. But and this is what Glenn Beck believes in Judeo-Christianism. So me, I don't follow hypocrites. But this video, this is a message to the Republican Party. A strong message. John Thune, John Cornyn, in the Congress, Mike Johnson, all your backroom deals. Glenn's right. I don't know why you think we don't see this, and I definitely don't know why you don't think it pisses us off. You better go stand your ass out there for that talking filibuster, sir. That's your job. That's what you're paid for. And the backroom deals for all these transgender things and, funding, messed up stuff in other countries. And we'll just put it that way, right? And nothing specific or nothing, but you said that you were done with that. You called the Democrats out for that. But yet in committee, you still back it. We don't want our money going to that, John Thune. We don't want our money going to that, John Cornyn. Check this out.
President Trump that Republicans should take over the voting in 15 states in order to nationalize the 2026 midterm elections. 19% say they would favor the idea. I'm with the 6 and 10. I don't think we should do that. I don't want to nationalize it. That's only going to lead to trouble, and that is not what the Constitution says. It's got to be run by the state. The federal government needs to oversee it. That's also in the Constitution. But I don't like nationalizing elections. Asked who is more likely to rig November's midterm elections. How do you think that goes? 44% say the Republicans. 33% say the Democrats. 11-point margin. Wait, it gets worse. Far more Americans disagree, 50%, than agree, 34%, with the statement, Democrats bring undocumented immigrants to our country to vote and help them vote illegally. Republicans agree, 73%, rather than disagree, 11%. Americans are more divided over the question whether fraudulent voting by undocumented immigrants is rare and it does not influence the outcome of elections. 42% agree. 36% say it is common and it does influence the outcome of elections. And then they split right down the middle when asked the same question about fraudulent voting, mail-in voting. Okay, 40% to 40%. Far more Americans say they would favor, 62%, than oppose, 23%, requiring proof of citizenship. The number is 62 now. Usually in the form of a passport or a birth certificate in order to register to vote. Nearly all Republicans, 89%, favor the idea. Democrats are divided. 39% now in favor, 45% opposed. That is completely different than what we have been seeing.
That's a Democrat poll. I guarantee it. That's gotta be a fake poll, bro. That's trying to throw the American people off. Oh no, we should go with the Democrats. That's what the Democrats are doing. More people are leaning this way. You know, if they lie and tell you that more people are leaning a certain way, right? Then normally that's the way the base is going to go, the population, majority. All right. However, if we get the truth out there, like Glenn is trying to do right here, we just seen Harry Hinton on CNN say something totally different. As a matter of fact, it was like 73% of the Democrats agreed with voter ID. These questions are weird also, right? And in itself, they're asking, how many people believe that Democrats actually are helping illegal immigrants vote and do other things? And they actually ask people that? And you expect people to answer honestly all the way? And number two, why would you ask people that? I don't recall that being in Harry Hinton's question. That right there, that's a giveaway right there to me. Let's see what else he's got to say. Go ahead, Glenn.
Making it harder to vote by mail, 46% opposed, 38% favor. Making it harder to vote early in person, 57% opposed, 21% favor. Banning or cutting back on mail-in ballot drop boxes, 42% opposed. Shortening the early or absentee voting period, 41% opposed. I don't believe this. I just don't believe this. I find this really hard to believe. But if those numbers are true, I mean, you're going to see this is what they're going to go after. If they try to, drag this, vote out, this is what they're going to go after. They're going to go after, the Republicans are rigging it, blah, 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 blah. So far, that's not working. If this is true, maybe it is working, but this just doesn't feel right to me because it's too much of a swing. But God only knows America changes on a dime.
How do you ask people, and see, there's my problem with people like Glenn. America changes on a dime. No, Glenn. We don't. We know what we want, and we want what we want. And your little feelings are irrelevant. You don't like it? Go to Israel. You got dual citizenship. There's another problem of mine with Glenn. How are you America first? How are you American when you got dual citizenship? Make you wonder.
Now, John Cornyn is warning that there is going to be a GOP massacre. John Cornyn, of all people. A GOP massacre if Texas votes for Ken Paxton as the AG. He wins the primary, he says it's going to be a massacre. Okay, I'm not listening to you, John Cornyn. I'm not listening to you. You are the reason the GOP is going to be massacred all over the country. Not Ken Paxton. Now, that's a separate issue. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm not listening to John Cornyn tell me anything about what the Republicans can do, because it's people like John Cornyn that has gotten the Republican Party where it is. Remember, Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's not a Republican. He is a guy who's turning the tables over. He's not going with Republican policies. He's spent the last 10 years trying to get enough momentum so he can actually change. Republican policies are, let's go to war. Let's spend even more money.
Now, you remember I said that from the very beginning? That Donald Trump's not a politician, but most of all, he's not a Republican. He was a Democrat, just like me. So we bring a lot of those, not a lot, some of those liberal aspects with us, right? But the whole time, conservatism has been in us the whole time. I believe in the nuclear family. I believe in working and earning a living. I believe in being a law-abiding citizen. I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. I believe in America, and I believe in the American people. If you work hard enough, you will be successful. But if you work for fake people long enough, they will screw you as long as you let them. Just remember that. They will screw you as long as you let them. Facts are facts, Mo. And, you know, people like old Glenn here, man, he's a terrific old fella. He just cares about America's money so much.
I mean, it's all progressive. It's all progressive. And John Cornyn is one of the main leaders of that. So please, give it a rest. You know, Republicans, this time around, if they don't stand for the things that they've told us they were going to do, and I'm telling you, the SAVE Act is one of them. It's critical. Look at what you've already done. Look at how you've handled the Epstein thing. You think that helped you? You're not only risking the midterms, you're risking the party. If you keep pretending that procedure is principle, you're going to help lose the republic. And this time, if you fail this time, you're not going to be just blamed by the left. You're going to be blamed by your own voters. It's going to happen, John. Your own voters, they've had enough. You will be blamed by your own.
I want y'all to understand, right? That's not just a message to John Cornyn. John Thune, Mike Johnson, all you conservatives that aren't playing ball to get our country where we want our country, where President Trump is working hard to take our country, then we're going to push for you to get out of here, man. You are not needed nor wanted if you're not doing the work of the people. Period. Period. If you're not doing what we want you to do, it's time for you to go. John Thune, what are you cocky for, bro? Stop being a pussy, bro. Do what needs to be done. You're the leader. Sometimes you got to do the things that nobody else wants to do or will do, but understands what's better for the conservative movement, for America. Period. Stand up there and talk, John Thune. stand up there and talk. Whatever needs to be done. But you better understand something, John. The Democrats already said it. When they get in power, they're getting rid of the filibuster, bud. And it won't just be John Cornyn that's judged harshly by history.
Voters, and you'll deserve it. Look at the difference between John Cornyn. How long has he been in office, and what has he accomplished? Look at the difference. President Trump comes into office. He moved like a man who understood the clock was ticking. Executive orders. Why? Because he couldn't get Congress to move. Regulatory rollbacks. He moved faster than any other president in U.S. history. He has a clear vision. He is literally reshaping the entire world, trying to get rid of the people who are trying to force the U.S. taxpayer and citizen to live under their unelected officials and rules. He's changing all that. He's done all the heavy lifting. He's taken all of the arrows. He's forced the fight. And what is it, John Cornyn, you and the Republicans have done? You passed one big, beautiful bill that he practically had to jam down your throats. And you want to run on that? That's not leadership. That's hiding behind a man doing your job for you. So let me talk about the excuse of the hour. If I read one more time from a conservative, you can't touch the filibuster. Demanding a talking filibuster is dangerous. You're changing the rules. I'm going to lose my mind. Do you ever read? Do you even know what history is? Enforcing a talking filibuster does not eliminate the filibuster. It actually restores the filibuster. The modern filibuster is the silent one. It's a 20th century convenience. Cloture, a word nobody knows about, that was added in 1917. Gee, who was the president in 1917? Cloture gives you the 60-vote threshold, and they weaponized it in the late 20th century. What we have now is not tradition, it's drift. And that ball was starting to drift. From whom? Woodrow Wilson. From 1806 forward, if you wanted to block a bill, you had to stand up on your feet and you talked. You held the floor. You sweated. You read from cookbooks if you had to. You physically sustained opposition. That's not nuking the filibuster. That's requiring it. That's requiring courage. It's requiring that the Democratic, or whoever uses it, the senators who literally can barely stand, have to stand. You can't sit while delivering a filibuster. How many of the 90-year-olds can stand that long? And here's the real problem with the Republicans, and I'm going to say it. The reason why the Republicans are trying not to do it is because it's going to require them to show up in the middle of the night. It's going to require them to do hard things. And they don't want to do that. They just want to go home.
You know, I just want to say, right, that if Glenn's right about that, you guys are some lame, lazy-ass pieces of shit. What do we even have these people in office for, bro? They barely work. And Glenn's right. They be sitting at home and send an email, say, I disagree. Now they got to do the 60 vote threshold. Man, that's bullshit. Get up and do your job, bro. Do your job. Do what we paid you to do. You want that tax money, right? We got to do our job. Then do your goddamn job. We're tired of listening to that, man. We're tired of that. We got to listen to that phony ass shit from the Democrats. You think we want to hear that from our own people too? The people that we're fighting for? You know, my mom and my dad told me a long time ago, mainly my dad, right? And this was with the ass end of his belt, right? He told me a long time ago, boy, the things you do reflect upon me. Don't you go out there and embarrass me, boy. John Thune, Don't you go out there and embarrass us, boy. Go out there and do the job we hired you for. Now, granted, you might have had a certain state that voted you in, but you represent all of us as Republicans. And all we want you to do is do your job, sir. That's it. You do your job, you'll go down in a blaze of glory. You don't. And every time I see your name in the history books, I'll write pussy next to it.
Historically, the talking filibuster was used to delay banking legislation in the 19th.
And that's another thing. It's time to get a little radical, bro. Open your mouth, man. Let these guys know that what you want, man. Speak your piece. And don't forget, coming over here to We the People, you have a voice. Leave me a comment. I want to work on doing a petition to get rid of the Smith-Mont Act of 2012 that Obama signed into office. So, that takes community. Hit that subscribe, like, and share, man. Stay with the channel, keep with the vibe. Let's go.
19th century. It was used during World War I. It was infamously used by the Southern Democrats to try to stop civil rights legislation, and they did in the 50s and early 60s. Strom Thurmond had his 24-hour speech against the Civil Rights Act in 1957. Notice something? Notice anything? They're all standing. When somebody believed that something mattered, whether they were right or wrong, they had to stand there and they had to pay the price. Today, a senator just sends a little email to leadership. I object. And then suddenly it's 60 votes to get this thing on the floor to vote. That's not constitutional reverence. That's laziness. The Save America Act has passed the House multiple times. It's overwhelmingly popular with the U.S. population. Voter ID polls through the roof, including among Democrats. And yet, the Senate Republicans whisper, yeah, but we don't have 60. You don't need 60. Make them stand up and talk. Make them hold the floor. Make them defend opposing voter ID in front of the American people for days, weeks, months. I don't care how long it takes. That's not destroying Senate norms. Republicans, conservatives, pundits, you're not this stupid, are you? This is not destroying the filibuster. If they wanted to destroy the filibuster, I'd be with you. But I did my homework because I thought originally, wait a minute, we're changing the filibuster. I don't want to change this filibuster. I want the filibuster to go back the way it was with, Jimmy Stewart. And Mr. Smith goes to why. That's what this is. That's what this is. And either you don't understand Senate history, which is unacceptable, or you do understand it and you're choosing comfort over confrontation. Both are failures. Meanwhile, what do the voters who want to vote Republican see? Republicans joining Democrats on bloated appropriations. Millions for gender transition clinics while you're telling us you're against it. Billions for refugee resettlement. A refusal to strip pork. Votes to protect activist judicial judges. Votes to protect agencies that Americans now see as...
So I have one question, Glenn. What happens when the Democrats come in and nuke the filibuster? Then what do we do? How do we bring back the norms? How do we bring back the filibuster? And how do we get control again if they nuke the filibuster? Then what? Nobody ever gives me an answer for that, though.
Of a nasty op-ed in the stupid Washington Post than a primary challenger back at home. And here's the fatal miscalculation, John Cornyn, and all you like him. Republican voters are done being managed. They're done being told to wait. They're done being told, well, now is not the time. When is the time?
Now.
We're done watching the left use power ruthlessly, while we don't even want to use anything that's legal.
It's time to grow some balls, period. It's time to let them drop, John. It's time for you to turn from boys to men and do your job. You got to do what the American people want you to do, John. And sometimes it's ugly. But we'll appreciate you in the end, sir. We will much appreciate you in the end if you save our country. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know what else to say about that. If you agree, leave me a comment at the bottom. I don't care if you agree or not. Leave me a comment at the bottom, man. And tell me what you feel. Tell me what you think about this situation. Do you support the stand of the filibuster? I do. And I agree with Glenn on this one. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one, baby. Subscribe, like, and share. That's all I can say. It gets better as we go. I'm out.